I'm Dr. Carrie Barron. I'm a naturopath, CNHP, certified natural health professional. I work remotely with all my clients. So I would love to work with you if you have any needs. Thanks so much for joining me today for coughs, colds, and the creeping crud. I hope you are not in the throes of that right now, but I wanted to share some information that I feel is really important. I've had a lot of my clients asking, hey, I've got a cough or I've got a cold or whatever, and we want to make sure that we are taking care of our people. So I'm inviting you to join me in that adventure today. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. We're going to go over quite a few things today, and I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not going to diagnose or prevent a disease or treat it. I'm just showing you things that I use and the things that you can do easily at home for yourself to boost your immune system prior to getting sick. So, we're going to talk about how to build your resilience so you don't really have to deal with colds and coughs and things like that near as frequently, and build up those defenses naturally. We're going to talk about how you can recognize if you have a cold, flu, or if maybe you've got allergies. Could be something different, and what steps you can take when you first start seeing that kind of not feeling so well and moving towards illness. So, first thing that we're going to go over is, what is a good foundation for health? Because I think that's really important. Beauchamp or Bechamp, I don't know exactly how you say his name. He came up with the terrain theory, saying that the environment inside your body is what your body is going to be as that is optimal. That environment and that terrain is what will dictate how those other things that you come in contact with will bother you. So for some people, they've got toxins or pathogens or viruses, any kinds of things, fungal, all that kind of thing. When those come on them, if that terrain is healthy, then you're going to have a healthier reaction. Your body is going to be able to deal with it more easily. When you have a poor health for the terrain of your body, that makes it a lot more difficult for your body to heal. So number one, with every one of my clients, always water, water, water. You don't have enough water, you're not going to be healthy. That is one of the foundational points of being healthy, is having enough water. And what that looks like is about half of your body weight in ounces of water for the day as a minimum. So I know when it's cold, it's a lot harder to drink that much water if you're not feeling like it. When it's hot, you need more water than that. So pay attention to that. Water is really important, and good clean water. Don't drink tap water. I have a video on my YouTube channel that, oh my gosh, don't drink tap water. Second thing is eating healthy foods. When you have healthy foods in your body, it is going to respond much more appropriately as well. So if you have been eating a lot of processed foods, probably not the best thing. Vegetables are great. They have so many nutrients in them. Organic meats, if you're going to eat meat, which I am a total meat eater, organic meats only. They put so much junk into the feed for our critters anymore. Seasonal fruit is always a good option as well. And I like seasonal fruit as opposed to those that are not seasonal, because as the seasons change, we have different nutrition requirements. And right now, my backyard has lemons, limes, and oranges, and grapefruit. So those are the fruits that tend to be needed more by our bodies. They'll have a lot of vitamin C in them. And so, fruits, minimal fruit versus vegetables and meats. Sugar, avoid it as much as possible. So processed sugar, absolutely never ingest processed sugar. But you've got to remember too that flours, pasta, things like that, those are also really sugar, because our body, when you ingest those, it changes it over to sugar almost immediately. As far as food is concerned, things that we're taking those in, stick as close to whole foods as possible. I'm a person that likes to cook, so I have ingredients, and I always kind of think about it in that way, that the ingredients are what we're looking at. So if I'm making a soup, I am using bone broth, I'm using carrots, celery, onions, probably some meat, some different types of vegetables. I'll throw spinach in there, things like that, as opposed to a pre-processed packaged kind of spice mix. Never do that. Those have so many chemicals in them. So please stay as close to whole foods, not processed, as possible. The next thing, besides water and healthy food, is getting enough movement. Now, lymphatic system is what will start moving things through our body, and we have an entire system that moves the fluids through the body to clean things out. And when you have stuff in your lymph nodes, that means that your body's fighting something off. And getting that lymph moving throughout your entire body is vital for your health. I have a friend, I was just actually talking to him yesterday, and he is called the Lymph Man. He is the king of lymph knowledge, super, super knowledgeable about it. He is a practitioner. If you want to get in contact with him, let me know, and I will pass that information along. But your lymph is the volume of lymph is twice as much of that, the volume of lymph in your body as blood. So that's a big deal. So keep your body moving. This kind of action can help with moving, congestion through this area. So literally, wiggling your shoulders, getting that lymph moving. And my lymph guy, yeah, my lymph man has a system of moving your lymph with your hands and, going like this and like this. And it's a whole system for above the collar. And I think a lot of times when we've got colds and coughs and things like that, we're thinking above the collar, the collarbone right here. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of that, but through your whole body. So movement includes walking if you want, bouncing on a rebounder. Those little trampolines can be amazing at helping your body get healthier. As far as the next step, so we've got water, food, and movement, rest. Rest is key. And I know sometimes it's hard for us to rest. We're so busy with doing so many different things, but without enough rest, you're not going to be healthy. And that's one of the most profound indicating factors of long life is those that get the sleep that their body needs. So rest doesn't mean that you have to be out cold, all night long and then hard to wake up in the morning. You're really sometimes taking a nap for 15, 20 minutes where your eyes are closed. You may not get into a deep sleep, but that's giving your body rest. So be aware of that need. And the more that we have problems with the way that our immune system is working, we want to make sure that we are getting the rest that our body needs. Strengthening your immune system is kind of the second step. So let's get that precursor in there and make sure that the environment of our body is healthy. And then we're going to kind of step into defending. One of the things that I use, and I don't have a bottle right in front of me, and it would be too hard for me to grab it, is Cell Power. Cell Power is a liquid supplement. I have drops in my water, and it is an energy that we bring to our body. So our bodies, when we are in defense, like regular maintenance mode, we need 25 millivolts of electrical amperage at the cellular level for every cell. So all you need to know is we need to have a certain level of energy for our cells. In order for the body to heal, we need to kick up that energy to twice what it was before. So if you've got 25 millivolts, we need to kick it up to 50 or even more for that cell to repair. And when you don't have enough energy, the cells can't repair themselves. So Cell Power is a liquid supplement. You just put the drops in your water and you drink your water. The Cell Power drops are energizing your water and bringing energy to your body. No allergic reactions, no contraindications to any medicine. So it's very easy to use. And that will be on a handout that I'll follow up later on with all of these products so that you know how to get a hold of them. So Cell Power, very foundational to making sure that we're healthy before we come in contact with something that is making us feel poorly. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is vitamin D3K2. So D3K2 together, very important. And I actually really like this Enzymatica formula because you've got a high volume of the D3. So you're at 5,000 IU. So one of these a day would be plenty. If that's too much for you, then there are smaller volumes. But I love that you've got the D3 and K2 together. Plus, you've got shiitake mushroom as well as prebiotic fibers. So great for the healthy bacteria in your system. D3K2 works on your immune system. It helps your bones, all kinds of stuff. Second thing that you want to take on a regular basis is zinc. A zinc gluconate lozenge is a great tool to use. There are a lot of different brands out there. I like to have one that has a good flavor. So D3K2 is one thing. The zinc's the next. The next one is vitamin C. So vitamin C is always something that you want to take with other bioflavonoids. So a bioflavonoid is kind of a companion vitamin C. So rose hips are a bioflavonoid. Um, Acerola cherry is a bioflavonoid, lemon, things like that. Those citrus, different types of citrus things. Having that vitamin C in a combo formula is a really good one. The Positive Power Vitamin C complex, it's a C complex that has a really good blend of those. Plus, those ingredients are very fresh and energetic, and it's easy to take. Capsules, very, very simple to take, but just doing a few vitamin C a day depends on your situation, obviously. For me, quercetin is a good one for me because I tend to have more lung issues over time. So for me, quercetin is another one that I like to take. Probiotics, there are a lot of good probiotics out there. There are a lot of ones that are just junk. And honestly, rotating through different probiotics is a great way to go. I am not a fan of taking one for a very long period of time. So typically, let's say we have a bottle that's this size, and this one has 60 capsules in it. So once you're done with a probiotic of 60 capsules, then let's do a different one. And then let's do a different one. So you're switching it up, that greater diversity in the microbiome. And that means that they can take care of different types of invaders of bacteria that isn't beneficial for your body. Next thing that I'm going to go over is a nasal rinse. So there are neti pads that you can use. I personally like the Navage because it's got a little arrow right here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little arrow right there. And then there's an arrow right here. What that's telling me is it is blowing the water in through this nostril, and then it's sucking it out through this one. I use the neti pot every single day. And recently my husband and I started getting more sinus kind of stuff. And so I am using it twice a day. I didn't use it last night, so I hear a little bit of something in my sinuses, which is unusual for me. Using a nasal rinse daily is a great tool. There are some statistics out there about how prevalent, how much better your overall wellness is if you do a nasal rinse daily. A lot of that information has been provided by manufacturers, so I don't know how truthful that is. So I'm not going to give you those references, but always makes me suspect, like, who did that study? But I love nasal rinses. Those can be something that you can do on a regular basis, especially if you have sinus issues. The next thing that I always recommend are castor oil packs. So this is my castor oil pack. I used it last night, and it's very easy to apply the castor oil to the pack. And then I get this from Queen of Thrones. Queen of the Thrones has the best castor oil, and they have really good packs. So this side is kind of a plasticky liquid proof. So it's not plastic, but it's something else. And then it's got the cotton liner on this side. Very easy to wrap around your body. Put the castor oil. When you first start, you're going to do 2 tablespoons of castor oil on the pack, and then go to bed. The little elastic strands help you to wrap yourself up in it. And then after that first initial one, then you can use a tablespoon per time. They just came out with this not too long ago, the organic castor oil roller ball. I love this sucker. This is amazing. So what happens with this is you've got a roller ball, and it's at pink quartz on the top. And you can roll that on your abdomen if you want to do that, and get some great results with it. So I love their castor oil. I use the roller ball all over my face all the time because it has a lot of vitamin E in it. And so it's really good and healthy for the body. So that's something that I absolutely love. I use the castor oil on my abdomen regularly, and I put that on my face. I don't know if that's helping with my defenses as far as putting on my face, but I think that castor oil pack helps me sleep better at night. And so if I'm getting better sleep at night, my overall well-being is going to be a lot better. So that's why I like the castor oil packs. The next thing that we're going to pay attention to, so we've got our, make sure that we are doing the good things that we normally need to do to have a good terrain, and some supplements that I think are good for an ongoing situation. Now we're going to talk about recognizing the symptoms. So we want to take early action as much as possible. And symptoms of a cold are many and varied. And it's so funny because there are so many different ways that you can look at having a cold. I typically will start getting a sore throat when I am about to have to deal with cold symptoms. So some of the common symptoms of a cold are runny or stuffy nose, sneezing. That's one of the things that's so funny with my husband. He never sneezes. When he starts sneezing, I know he's got something coming on. So pay attention to your family members too. Everyone's going to show signs and symptoms a little differently. And these are from online. You can see all of these signs and symptoms. It's not like I'm telling you stuff that you don't know at all, but be aware of it. Sometimes having someone talk about something can help. So I talked about the sore throat, cough. Coughing can be really dry. It can be worse with phlegm, things like that. Fatigue, that was something that I experienced one day, and I'll tell you kind of that how that happened. I was getting really tired and then took a couple of the vitamin C and oh my goodness, made a difference. A low-grade fever is really rare. Typically, you're not going to get as many body aches and headaches with a cold as you do with something else. Watery and irritated eyes can happen, but sometimes those are going to be allergies. So pay attention to, do you have any cycles where you have a time of year where certain plants are blossoming that you may have allergic reactions to? Nasal congestion can cause watery and irritated eyes. Sense of smell or taste due to that congestion, that can be something that is making it a little bit harder to smell things. And then postnasal drip. So a lot of times mucus dropping down the back of your throat gives you that tickle sensation and, needing to clear your throat, that kind of thing is a cold symptom. Now, cold versus other illnesses. Flu tends to be more sudden as far as the onset, higher fever, severe body aches, and extreme fatigue. If there is a real sudden onset of it, more than likely you're going to need to be paying attention to flu kind of things. And like I said earlier, sometimes people think that they've got a cold and really it's just allergy symptoms. So pay attention to those seasonal patterns. Itchy eyes. Fever is not going to be an allergy symptom. And not everybody gets a fever with a cold. With the flu, you're going to have fever. And that's a very common thing. And then remember that we need to respond quickly so that the severity is going to be much lower and the duration more than likely will be less as well. So my first course of conduct is just make sure I'm doing all of my good things. The second thing I do is I always have these on hand. So these are the homeopathic remedies that I keep on hand at my house. So you've got oscillococcinum. Yes, that's how it's pronounced, and I do know how to pronounce it. And throat calm and cold calm. I tend to be using throat calm more often because the throat symptoms come on first for me. Oscillococcinum is for flu symptoms and body aches, headache, fever, chills, and fatigue. Now, with all of these, you are not going to hurt yourself by taking a homeopathic. It just doesn't happen. With smaller children, they need a smaller dose than it would say for adults, but they're very simple to take. The throat calm and the cold calm comes in a little blister pack. As you can see, I've used some of these. And you just push it through, put it under your tongue, let it dissolve, and you're good to go. Follow the label instructions for the homeopathics. The throat calm has been one of those things that has been such a lifesaver to me. If I can take care of that throat issue early on, I'm not going to have the problems later. Cold calm, so the difference between this is really sore throat kind of stuff. And if you pay attention, this body aches, headache, fever, chills, and fatigue are more flu symptoms, whereas this is sneezing, runny nose, nasal congestion, and a minor sore throat. So these are great to have on hand. When you first start feeling poorly, you're not going to be able to go to the store and get these because more than likely they'll be out of them or whatever. So always have these on hand. They are very important. This is kind of emergency stuff for me. I always have the homeopathics on hand. So oscillococcinum, cold calm, and throat calm, those are all boron products. I absolutely love them. There are other homeopathics that I love that I keep on hand as well that I tend to travel with because this is a bit, those containers are a bit large to travel in. It's not like I'm expecting to have cold, flu, or, sore throat problems when traveling. That's the first thing that I do. I always go to the homeopathics right off the bat. Second thing is prioritizing rest and slowing down. Your body needs the time and energy to heal. If you are doing things, then that electrical energy is not going to be as bioavailable if you've got stuff to do. So if you're taking the time to rest and slow down, that is a great thing. The next thing is eating. If you are starting to feel poorly and you don't feel like eating, don't eat. It's that simple. If you are not eating for long periods of time after being ill, that's a different dynamic. But if you aren't feeling like eating, don't eat. And that's one of the things that I think our body is so beautifully made to do is if you aren't feeling well, your body is going to go, I don't have energy to digest. There's so much energy that goes to digestion. I got to get myself feeling better. So that digestion, not a priority. Make sure that you are if you want something to eat, that's totally fine. I prefer stuff like soup. Bone broth is a great one if you aren't feeling like having water, but eating and getting nourishment when your body is ready for it. Hydration always, that's the biggest thing for me, but that's kind of like a standard. I'm always going to make sure that I'm drinking enough water. Now, I will do some different things to boost my immune system. And these are things that you wouldn't do all the time. There may be some reasons that you would do certain things all the time, but like I said earlier, pick a good vitamin C. The high energy C complex from Positive Power has a great combo of bioflavonoids, very fresh ingredients. No, that one works. Quercetin is something that I take separately, even from vitamin C, but I love the Solaray Quercetin bromelain vitamin C complex. So I don't know how much of my kind of lung issues that I tend to get. I when I get sick, it's not so much the sinuses are the problem, it's more the breathing that's the problem. Quercetin is great for allergies, bromelain is great for allergies, and both things with allergies are the same kind of symptoms of cold a lot of times. So I love the Solaray. It used to be called QBC. They've changed it because it's quercetin, bromelain, vitamin C complex. There is a thing that I do when I start feeling poorly is to do what's called a vitamin C flush. I'm doing a capsule of vitamin C every hour. And I would highly, highly recommend you keep track of how many you're doing. When did you take that vitamin C last? Writing it down. The reason that you write it down is because if you're taking a vitamin C every hour, your body will tell you if you have too much vitamin C and you will have to go flush. You're going to have diarrhea that will come on. If you aren't keeping track of how many vitamin C, then you're going to get to that point and not realize how many did I take? Like, what is the threshold for my body? And to do that the next day again, you're going to have a, guessing game. How many did I take? And so you just keep track of how many vitamin C you take. If you do, I have yet to have a problem with diarrhea with taking vitamin C. So I don't know. I guess I just need a lot more vitamin C or my body's used to it. But when you get to that threshold, then you take one less the next day. So doing that vitamin C every hour is a great tool to help. Vitamin C does all kinds of stuff for the immune system. So that's really key for me. And when I do get sick too, I will also do elderberry syrup or elderberry lozenges for those symptom reliefs because it's so good for coating the throat, boosting your immune system. And I tend to take that at almost almost the same time that I do the vitamin C. I found this new product. It's called Immune Power Complex, and it has elderberry, herbs, and organic mushrooms in it. So we've got black elderberry fruit that is a concentrate in that. So it's much smaller than taking, tablespoon or teaspoon of echinacea. I mean, elderberry. It's got astragalus in here, which is wonderful for your immune system, and echinacea. Now, a lot of times people just take echinacea and elderberry ongoing. When you do those two herbs, you are diminishing the benefits when your body really needs it. So I keep those for only when I need them. It's not something that I do all the time. So echinacea, great, but not long term. And the medicinal mushrooms that are in here are reishi, maitake, shiitake, cordyceps, chaga, and turkey tail. So you've got these other great medicinal mushrooms that help with your immune system. So I really like this. Instead of doing the elderberry extract or elderberry syrup, that's fine. It's a great thing. So is echinacea. but I really like this combination. It's easy to take. And recently, when I was not feeling great, my husband had been having some snot situation. So I'm like, oh, maybe I need to make sure that my immune system is strong. And so I was doing a few more vitamin C, and then I kind of succumbed to the exhaustion that comes along with a cold. And what I did is I started my vitamin C flush for one day, and I worked all day long. I didn't stop. The next day I started working and I'm like, wow, I am not feeling good. I really need to rest. And I thought about the immune power complex. So I thought, let's try it and see how it goes. So I did my vitamin C. An hour later, I did another vitamin C with the immune power complex. I'm like, oh, okay, didn't really notice anything. Then the next hour, I did another vitamin C with the immune power complex. And remember, I was doing the vitamin C flush kind of the day before. That second dosing, the second capsule that I did of the immune power complex, I started noticing that I was feeling better in very short order. So that worked really well for me. Not sure if I just got past that threshold for my body to respond to the vitamin C, but I was feeling better. The other thing that I always recommend is zinc lozenges. Now, you can get zinc capsules. They are not as beneficial when you are having an immune need. Zinc is great for your immune system. I think zinc on a regular basis is good to take. The zinc lozenges, you want them to be gluconate. That is a specific type of zinc. So that's really important, zinc lozenges with gluconate. So those are some of my immune boosting supplements and herbs that I take right off the bat when I'm starting to feel poorly. The other thing that I like to do is I like to use essential oils. So when I am having coughs or cold congestion, things like that, where it's feeling congested here, I love using eucalyptus oil. I don't have any eucalyptus oil here, or peppermint. So, peppermint and eucalyptus oil can be really good to use in a hot cup of steamy water. So, boil some water, put it in a cup, put a couple drops on it, and then take a towel and kind of sit with your head under the with the cup and inhale that vapor. So it helps open up those lung passages. Peppermint is one of those things that if you are going to ingest it, you better darn well have a good brand that you know that the purity is there. Eucalyptus, you're not going to be ingesting it anyway. So quality of the eucalyptus isn't as crucial as those that are going to be ingested at some point. Eucalyptus typically is used topically with a carrier oil. Peppermint can be ingested straight or put it in a carrier. The other thing I do is oregano oil. Now, oregano oil is not for the faint at heart. The people out there that have concerns that are more sensitive, I probably wouldn't recommend oregano for you because oregano can kind of burn as it goes down your throat if you want to do it. So I will take a cup of tea. I will put 1 drop of oregano oil in there, one, never more. If I do more than 1 drop, I'll take a paper towel and try and absorb all of the oil to make sure that it's not that strong. So I do 1 drop of oregano oil in there in a cup of tea, and you can use any kind of tea. And then I will take some honey and drizzle it over that oil so that that honey and the oil kind of grab onto each other. And then I can stir it up so that it isn't as strong. If you accidentally get like a whole bunch of oregano all at once, it's going to burn through your throat. Don't do it. But this is what I use. And I've seen good results with that because I feel like it's helping boost the immune system and get more movement, getting things out. The other thing that I like to use on a regular basis, this little bottle is magic to me. So let's see if it's going to get the focus right. Are you paying attention? Okay, so it's not doing it. So Vibrant Blue Oils Parasympathetic is an oil blend that I really like. Parasympathetic, what is that? So you've got the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system. Our bodies need to be able to rest and digest, and that's the parasympathetic system. The sympathetic is the fight and flight. So how strong are we going to have an immune system when we're in fight and flight all the time? Probably not very much. So the parasympathetic is great. I'm really sensitive for some oils. That's what I do. I smell it and I will sniff this sucker so many times a day. I will put a little bit of it on topically, but I don't need it topically. That's why a little tiny bottle will go a long way. Has great stuff in it too. It absolutely smells wonderful, and I calm down when I have it, and I think it really does help with digestion and moving my body into that mode to rest and digest. Rest is important for your immune system. The other one that they have with Vibrant Blue Oils is called Immune Support. I don't have any on hand right now, but it has a great blend, and I have really loved the combinations that they use. They do organic, and they are a small company that does a great job of paying attention to their customers. So, Vibrant Blue Oils for any kind of essential oils is a great way to go. I use DoTerra because I have used DoTerra for years. For single oils, they tend to be a good option. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is specific things that may be going on for common cold symptoms. So sore throats. The key, I think, a lot of times for sore throats is salt. Taking the time to take a little bit, teaspoon of salt, put it in a cup of water, stir it up, and gargle with it. Gargling actually helps your immune system too, because it's one of those things that helps the vagus nerve. Vagus nerve runs through your whole body. It is that rest and digest kind of thing that it helps with. It's the easiest way to explain it. But salt is really important. I like the real salt because it's from the Great Salt Lake. And they have a single source. They do not refine it, and it tastes good. It's got a lot of stronger taste than other salts. I know that they're not putting iodine in it. It's not iodized salt, and I'd rather support a small company like Real Salt as well. But gargling does amazing things. Salt also, if you are having problems with congestion, you can take a pinch of salt, put it in on your tongue, and then follow it by a cup of water. And that's from Dr. Batman Gelidge's book, You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. I think and then The Body's Many Cries for Water. Both of those books have information about salt in them. So gargling with salt water whenever you're not feeling well is amazing. Herbal teas can be very soothing. There are a lot out there, and I don't really have any favorites. I kind of go between different ones all the time. Um, when you have congestion or sinus support, I would do the nasal rinse thing. So my Navage, my Happy Navage, um, I like using that for sinus. And I have, with having this little sinusy thing going on, been doing it twice a day, so morning and night. And it really made a difference to move through the way that my body was doing with all the congestion. Facial massages for sinus, so rubbing here, making sure that you've got this area cleared before you start rubbing, because you want to make sure that it goes all the way past this area. Doing the lymph man shuffle, that's what he calls it. And my friend John that's what his whole thing is lymphatics. But facial massage, moving that lymph through your body, bouncing up and down can be really important. Coughs. So coughs are where I kind of like get messed up physically. I have broken my ribs twice coughing. Not fun to have broken ribs and be coughing. But there are a lot of really great natural syrups, the elderberry, like I was talking about before. I like certain herbals where I have to. So this Herb Farm, great brand. Their low, medium, and OSHA are two key ones for me. And I discovered with the last time that I had a really bad cough and went to a practitioner, they like, oh, you need low, medium, and OSHA. I'm like, okay. So I started taking these, and basically you get your dropper full, and with them being separate, I used to have a brand that had them together, but I do half a dropper full in 16 ounces of water. And then with OSHA, I do another half a dropper full. I will also add andrographis to it because andrographis is great for the immune system. But with the Lomadium and OSHA, those specifically are for coughs when you are not producing the phlegm that your body, and you're not producing coughing like phlegm coming out, where it's just a tickle in the back of your throat, postnasal drip, that kind of a thing. So Lomadium and OSHA, amazing for that. I keep these on hand, and I discovered recently, because we were using so much of this, we didn't have this available locally, and I had to order it online, and it was like a week to get it. And so keep these in stock if you tend to have tickly throat coughs, even if it's a cough that you get from allergies, because that can happen. The Lomatium, OSHA, and Andrographis are great. And then again, for cough relief, inhaling the peppermint and eucalyptus steam, very, very good. The other thing that I want to share with you is, so if you get like that like dry area here after getting a snotty nose and blowing your nose all the time, that tissue can irritate it. I love castor oil for that. And I used to use just lotion in that area. It never seemed to heal so quickly. This is amazing. If you've got like the dry area from snotty nose and from blowing your nose all the time, I was blown away by this. This, because of what castor oil does, is really good. And I don't, obviously, if I got a snotty nose, I'm not going to rub this on my nose, but I rub it onto a clean hand and then I will rub it in. But in a very short period of time, that area wasn't dry. And so it didn't have that like scabby kind of look that you get when I was a little kid. I would always have like a scabby thing when I was blowing my nose all the time. But that castor oil is amazing for that. Couple of things I want to do. We want to go over what we just talked about, and really prevention is key. The healthier your body is before you're encountering toxins or pathogens, your body is going to be able to deal with things a lot better. That's kind of where I come in with a lot of my clients. I will have people call me and say, "Hey, I've never worked with you. I've got a cold. What do I do?" I will probably send them to this webinar and say, "This is what I do. This is my personal experience, and I am sharing my personal experience. I'm not telling you to do it, because if I don't have a relationship with someone where they are not a client and they understand that client relationship with me as a practitioner, I'm not going to be messing with telling them things to do." The other thing is, if I can teach you to recognize early signs as a practitioner, I want you to be able to do that. So paying attention to those kinds of symptoms, if you or your family is having issues and like, "Hey, you got something going on, let's go ahead and kind of nip it in the bud before we start having problems." There are a lot of great natural remedies. You're going to get a download of a sheet that has all of this information on it so that you have that available. Get a little toolkit and put it together. I actually have little homeopathic kits that I use because of certain situations that our family has experienced. My husband tends to get cold sores or canker sores, whatever they call it, cold sores, when we travel a lot. So I will have boron or borax available, which is the homeopathic for the kind of things. Works great for him. I have some homeopathics for bee stings or bug bites that I use regularly. So get yourself prepared ahead of time. There is I'm not a prepper in that I have tons of food stored or I have guns or a shelter or anything like that. But when it comes to being able to take care of your family without having to go to the store and the store not have it, be prepared ahead of time. It's great to have just your little emergency kit. I will be following up with these different pieces of information. There'll be a PDF there with a follow-up. If you want to reach out to me and schedule personalized support, I am happy to do so. In order to start working with me, I have designed a program. It's called a Design to Thrive Strategy Call. And the normal price for that is $497. Right now, I am doing that at a reduced rate. If you want to do that, you can do Thrive in the code. I'll send the link with the follow-up email. And I'll put that in the YouTube description. You're going to have that information. So for a limited time, I'm going to offer that initial strategy call for $197 instead of $497. So you're saving $300 on it. We're going to go through all of the issues that your body may be facing and what are some of the roadblocks. Do you have problems with overload of toxins? Are your eating habits poor? Sleep issues? What kind of your priorities are? And then we figure out what kind of lab tests do we need to do. If we don't need to do lab tests, what kind of program is going to be the most effective for helping you get healthy? So I would love to work with you. I appreciate you being here. I'm Dr. Carrie Barron. I'm a naturopath, CNHP, certified natural health professional. I work remotely with all my clients. So I would love to work with you if you have any needs. And thank you for joining me today. Have an amazing day.